Hi there, welcome to another edition of TokStocks. I'm your host, Keir Reynolds, and today we're coming all the way live from SMI, the Swiss Mining Institute 2024 conference. And we're joined today by Andrew Chubb, CEO of Awale Resources. Trades on the TSX Venture Exchange with the ticker ARIC. Hey Andrew, how you doing today?
Good, thanks. Nice to meet you, Keir.
Hey, nice to meet you. I've heard lots about your company. I'd love to sort of dig into it with a little bit of detail.
Sure.
Maybe before we get into all that, maybe you could explain a little bit about who you are, what's your background, how'd you get into mining?
So Andrew Chubb. I'm a geologist by trade, and have worked as a geologist for most of my career. And so this is my first foray into the CEO role, which I'm really enjoying, by the way. I've been working in West Africa as a geologist for, since 2010 solidly, but my first time in there was in 2003.
Oh, wow.
So I've got a protracted history in West Africa as well, but cut my teeth in Australia as a young geo. And grown as a consultant for some of the time with the bigger consulting companies, and then working in the junior sector as well as for some of the majors over the years. So I got a sort of quite a rounded experience in different commodities, and now getting that little bit of corporate experience on top of it all. Yeah, so it's quite cool.
Awesome, and maybe you could, for those of my viewers who don't know the company, maybe you could give a bit of an overview on what you're going after, what you're exploring, a little bit of, I think you have a JV if I'm not mistaken, maybe you could sort of get into it.
So sure. The Odienné Project is, I love talking about it, but it's the project that I've been looking for the last 25 years as a geologist, really. We feel quite blessed to have actually been able to build that project from the grassroots. Never had a hole drilled on it, anything like that. So through that time, we did get Newmont interested, so they've been a joint venture partner for 2 years now. They fund, we operate. That's over a portion of the package. So we've organically grown since we started in 2017. So they're joint ventured on 800 square kilometres or 2 permits, but we've got 2,500 square kilometres. We see that it is a district scale play, an iron oxide, copper gold style of mineralisation. So we've got both copper and gold, but those sorts of systems are big district scale systems. And so we think that there's huge potential for our 100% Awale permits as well, which we're just starting to explore now. So we're just opening the door into that blue sky on the Awale permits now.
Great.
Yeah.
And in terms of the JV, maybe you could just sort of go into on the portion that Newmont, maybe you could go into some of the terms, what they're earning in.
So there's a $15 million US dollar earn in there. They'll have 75% after their 15 million earning. They need to also deliver a 2 million ounce, there need to be I guess we deliver it because we're operators, but there needs to be a 2 million ounce minimum resource delivered on top of that as well. So we're about, as of today, we'd be close to about 8 million spent of that earn-in at this stage. That Awale as a company was struggling, and that's how I ended up taking over as a CEO. But so that money that Newmont's been giving us is what's enabled us to make these awesome discoveries.
Right.
The junior sector was really struggling, and it was hard for people hard for the CEO before to raise money, but now I've had the money to spend to make the discoveries, which is really quite cool.
So I would say there's kind of the story of the have and the have-nots really in junior mining. Those that have a corporate sort of sponsor, corporate backer, corporate investor like a major miner like Newmont, and those companies have tended to perform quite a bit better than those that are just maybe relying upon kind of the retail investor.
Yeah.
How do you see it as being someone who's running one of these companies?
Yeah, I think it has been really tough. And as a junior, you look, you need money to create news, and you need money to actually, you need to explore. If you're not exploring, nothing can happen, right? And so there's nothing that can excite the market. But I think one of the things with us And the reason that we've got Newmont interested is, with my protracted history in West Africa, I've known the Newmont guys for quite a while. They understand how we work, and they understand how strong we are technically. So our VPX, Andrew Smith, fantastic geologist. Like I'm okay. He's really good, right? And then we've got other guys on the ground who we've trained up as Ivorians, like Andrew and I have trained them. And then we've, recently taken on this guy called John Scott, who's an old hand, my age, fantastic structural geologist. He's a doctor, he's a PhD. He doesn't like telling people he's a PhD. But we have this really strong technical team, and so that's what makes discovery for me. I mean, you need the ground as well, which we've got, but then we've got a really good crew to keep making discoveries as we move on.
And you guys have had some pretty eye-popping results, haven't you? It's fairly high grade.
Yeah. It's charges quite. I've never seen anything like it.
Sure.
So it's. I mean, we've had 3 of the highest grade gold intercepts in Africa in the last 12 months, and there's really only one other company on that list, which is West African Resources, and that's an operating mine, and it's a high grade thing, and they're drilling, down plunge, down dip on what is already an underground mine. So
right.
But so we're for an exploration play to have the highest one in Africa in the last year, plus 3 others is really quite cool. But charges really we're starting to understand the geometry of Charger now, and so really excited about the drilling that'll come up on that toward the end of this year. And then the BBM discovery is more like bread and butter. It's just continually growing as we keep drilling. So that's the bread and butter at the moment, and then Charger's like the cream. And then we've got other high grade things like Empire, which will come back into play in the next 12 months as well. So, and then there's pipeline targets on top of that too.
Right.
So,
which part of West Africa are your projects in?
Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we?
And how is that? You hear different things, about Africa, West Africa. Investors, sometimes have sort of shied away, or maybe give a bit of your experience.
Yeah, I think that this is the thing when people aren't really aware of jurisdictions. The countries that hit the headlines are the ones that are having trouble, and they're completely different countries. Completely different politically, and Côte d'Ivoire for me is a bit of a standout in a way because it's always been a bit of an economic powerhouse in West Africa, but it is now probably the economic powerhouse in West Africa. There's a lot of investment coming into Côte d'Ivoire, and not just in the mineral sector. So there's there's been some particularly large investments in the gold sector in Côte d'Ivoire, with mines being developed over the last sort of 5 to 10 years. But then there's also oil and gas, energy, agriculture. Like there is a huge amount of investment, and you can see the growth on the ground. And so I think we're really comfortable with the jurisdiction, and I think that Côte d'Ivoire is just going to keep growing as a
Right.
country and an economy.
So you guys have a pretty extensive land package, talking about thousands of square kilometers.
Yeah.
What's the sort of holding cost of that? Do you have to work on that?
Yeah, so there's expenditure commitments. Once you get the permits, when the permits are granted, there's an expenditure commitment. But that's money spent in the ground, okay? So, the actual sort of permit rental costs are not high. They're quite reasonable, but, you need to be actively exploring, and we want to be actively exploring, so that's good, and we're sort of happy with that. So, if at the early stage plays, you're going to be spending, $1 million on a permit per
Right.
year. So, and that's fine, and the government's happy with that, and we that's what we want to do.
Excellent. And maybe you could talk a little bit about some of the catalysts. What are some of the near-term catalysts? Sounds like you got some drilling.
Yeah, drill.
Yeah.
So I think we should get more interest out of our geochem that we're doing on our 100% stuff, because it's in the same system. But where the joint venture permits are at a position where it's just drill.
Right.
And we're expecting an increase in budget from Newmont for 2025. I don't have that yet. But we had, in the end, we got 4 million for this year. We're expecting an increase on next year on that. And then, we've already got some low-hanging fruit on one of our 100% properties we'd call the target Fremen. And so we should be drilling that one early, next year, hopefully January at the latest. We hope to be drilling that target next year. So
pretty exciting time.
There's this dry season, lots of catalyst.
Excellent. Excuse me. Excellent. So maybe you could talk to me a bit about your cap structure. How many shares are out?
Yeah, so we're just under 87 million right now. Fully diluted, I think it's about 101 million. So I think we're still pretty tight from that perspective. And the fully diluted is mostly in warrants, which are range between 20 and 80 cents. So, we hope to build the share price over the next 12 months and sort of get some funding through those warrants over the next 12 months as well.
Where are you guys trading at approximately right now?
I think we just hit 51 cents yesterday. So we've had two nice releases in the last 2 weeks, and that sort of crept us up from that 40, 42 to 50,
Right.
50 odd cents in the last sort of 2 weeks, and so hopefully we just keep going north based on good results from the drilling that we're doing.
So we're here at the SMI, the Swiss Mining Institute. It's a conference here in Zurich. What are 3 things that you're sort of hoping to accomplish from attending a conference like this?
Look, I think you want to meet new people and you want to bring them into the story, and then you want to be keeping on talking to the people you know. And I think, the conference like this, there are a lot of retail people at a conference like this as well, which is not necessarily what you see. And I think it was actually Mark Bristow that said once, it's the retail guys that build your share price, and then it's the institutions which actually give you the money to do things with, right? And so we need to have you need to have that interest in the company to to make sure you've got a following on the retail market, because that's where your share price moves. And so if you want to be raising money at a ever increasing price, which is the goal, I guess, we need to be at things like SMI. And so it's been, I find this to be a really good conference from that perspective.
And do you have a large number of European shareholders, or is that something you're looking to grow?
We do have some significant European shareholdings, and so from family office and some funds. But we're quite well spread between North America, Europe, and there's also the last round I got my Australian sort of thing started to come into play. So there's some significant APAC investment in the company now as well.
Hey, excellent. Any final comments? Anything that we should be paying attention to here in the next couple of months?
I don't know. I just tell people that I think Awale is like one of the most advanced exploration plays on the market right now. Where, in a way, we're de-risked, and I think NECL will tell you they're undervalued. But I think at the pricing we're at now, we're undervalued.
Hey, excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time. I'll let you get back to it.
Thanks very much, Keith.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you. And,
nice to meet you.